Jennifer Rubin has a quick piece. I just want to share it with you because I love the way Jennifer Rubin writes for the Post. Her headline is, "Let's not mince words, Trump is a racist." This is what she writes. This is how you accurately describe President Trump's latest actions. Quote, "Instead of working round the clock on the pandemic, visiting hospitals, rallying the troops, rallying the public to wear masks, fight complacency, care for the elderly and the sick, this president is simply declaring victory, declaring the novel coronavirus 99% harmless instead of talking about the virus and doing things about it. He's spending his time in trying to distract now with racist and jingoistic talk. He's just leaned full into the racist he's long been. He's just letting us see it more clearly now than ever before," end quote. Now, she's quoting Anderson Cooper on CNN Monday night. Clear, declarative sentences that accurately label the ape's words. Is it so hard, Jennifer Rubin writes, for others to do the same? Yeah. She goes on, "This is not how you accurately depict Trump." And she uses this as an example. Quote, "For many Republicans who are watching the president's impact on Senate races with alarm, his focus on racial and cultural flashpoints, and not on the surge of the coronavirus in many states, is distressing." End quote. Now, that was how the New York Times obliquely described Trump's defense of the Confederate flag, his attack on African-American NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace, his rants against peaceful protesters seeking to halt the murder of African-Americans by police, and his insistence that some Americans are out to destroy the country. Jennifer writes, "I don't know what it means to, quote, focus on racial and cultural flashpoints," end quote. Trump is not conducting a seminar on race and culture. He's not calling attention to violence against racial minorities. He is making racist statements and venerating racist symbols, period. What Jennifer Rubin is doing here, rightly, is attacking this mincemeat of bullshit words that I see so often, more so in the New York Times than in the Washington Post, but I see it there too, Ms. Rubin. But this time, what Jennifer Rubin is using as an example are these mealy-mouthed bullshit words from the Times. Let me read it again. This is what the Times said. Quote, "For many Republicans who are watching the president's impact on Senate races with alarm, his focus on racial and cultural flashpoints is distressing." And all of that encapsulates the Times description of Trump's defense of the Confederate flag, his attack on Bubba Wallace, his bullshit screaming vile rants against peaceful protesters trying to halt the murder of African Americans. Jennifer writes, phrases such as racially charged or racially sensitive should be dropped from journalist lexicon. Racial tensions means nothing. That phrase, raising racial tensions, what the hell does that mean? Trump is saying racist things, okay? It's part of decades of racist rhetoric. Don't mince words. Say it. Jennifer writes, journalists should not construct tortured sentences to make racism appear as an unfortunate and perhaps accidental byproduct of Trump's rhetoric. Try diagramming this sentence from the New York Times. Remember when you used to have to diagram sentences? Huh? You remember that, right? Right? Of course you do. Okay. Try diagramming this. This appeared in the New York Times. Quote, Mr. Trump has sought to stoke white fear and resentment, portraying himself as a protector of an old order that polls show much of America believes perpetuates entrenched racism and wants to move beyond. End quote. That sentence verges on self-parody. Mr. Trump has sought to stoke white fear and resentment, portraying himself as a Jesus. As Jennifer writes, try this. Trump fans racism. Period. She writes, and when the media generously describe Republicans as bothered or uneasy about Trump's blatant racism, they exaggerate Republicans' reaction and distort reality. The overwhelming number of elected Republicans do not say and do not act as though they are bothered or uneasy. The few Republican voices, other than openly never-Trumpers, the few Republican voices whom mainstream reporters dig up to say negative things about Trump are generally retired politicians and lesser-known strategists who do not really take Trump on as much as they disagree with his premises and assertions, as if racist words and accusations are floating free in the atmosphere, untethered to a particular person. Let's be accurate. Whatever personal qualms they might have, virtually every elected Republican either ignores, rationalizes, or minimizes Trump's racist appeals. Racists and liars, Jennifer writes, are enabled and protected from accountability. When the media mince words in describing their language, it is those who are already the victims of racial injustice, brutality, and persecution who are hurt the most when the media bob and weave, sidestepping unpleasant but true descriptions of their oppressors. I pray, she concludes, we will finally respond to protesters' demands for racial justice. But in the meantime, can we at least be clear about the identity and tactics of their persecutors? Jennifer Rubin. And the chief persecutor, the one who is most guilty, is, God help us, or somebody, the President of the United States. Do you understand that? Oh, I know you do, Truth Seeker. But
Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. You have your choice. You can listen to The Ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com. And never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.